Hi, welcome back to the 30-day beginner yoga challenge. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. If you have done all of week one, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you're thinking so far and if there are any other poses that you want me to add in as we go along. Today we are going to focus on balancing, we're going to focus on tree pose. So it's going to be a slow, steady practice. We're going to focus on building our core strength, building some strength in the feet, and finding our centre of gravity. So we're going to start off standing in mountain pose. We're going to stand up at the front edge of the mat, feet together, tuck your hips under, lift up through your core, lift up through the crown of your head, keep your belly button coming in and up, roll your shoulders back, turn your palms so they face forwards, and then just hold there. So standing tall and strong, taking some long deep breaths. Maybe close your eyes over and take your focus down to your feet. So notice how your feet won't be perfectly still. They'll be constantly moving and readjusting. So there'll be tiny little movements going on with your feet, with your toes. So you're always bringing yourself back to your centre. You aren't just standing perfectly still. So just notice how your feet do that for a couple of rounds of breath. At the same time, feel yourself standing tall, feel your shoulders coming down. And then inhale, stretch your arms forwards, up overhead, push your hips forwards, lift your chest. And then exhale, hinge forwards into forward fold. So come down with a flat back. And then when you can't go any further, take your hands onto your legs, release your head, have a soft bend in your knees just so you don't lock out the knees. And then try to get your hips so they're above your heels. Take a few deep breaths, feel the backs of the legs extending. So if you aren't fully warm right now, you might not go into your deepest stretch. So again, it doesn't really matter, we're just starting to loosen everything up. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, take your hands to the floor. So bend your knees a little bit bigger. Walk your feet out to their hips distance. And then cross your arms over and come into ragdoll. So let your head drop down between your arms, spread your toes wide, and then shift your weight back into your heels and lift your toes up. If you are particularly wobbly, then you might like to just have your hands on the floor for extra support as we do this one. So weight into the heels, toes lifted, and then shift your weight forwards into your toes so your heels don't lift but they become light on your mat. And then do that, so just rocking backwards and forwards, go from one to the other. Just let your breath flow naturally. And then find some point in the centre. So figure out where is your middle ground between those two. And then shift your weight into your right leg. So your left foot becomes light on your mat. And then shift your weight into your left leg. So the right leg becomes light. And then again, go from side to side. So you're just putting your weight from one leg to the other. It doesn't need to be a massive movement. It's more of a subtle internal feeling. And then we're going to do some circles. So we're going to take the weight into the left leg, and then into the toes, and then into the right leg, and then into the heels. And then circle all the way around. And then switch directions, so take your weight back into your heels and then over to the right foot, and then into the toes, and then into the left foot, and then find your centre. So find that midpoint between all of those four, so you might want to have a little move around, it might take a little while, a few adjustments, and then try to figure out where is that central point, where's your centre of gravity. Once you've found it, just hanging out there for a moment. Release your hands, Shake your head from side to side, nod your head. And then spine roll up really slowly. So our head has been down for us a while. Do a bigger bend in your knees, tuck the hips under, engage the core. Roll up as slow as you can. So almost like you're moving in slow motion. Think about how slow you want to go and then go even slower than that. Take a few deep breaths on the way up. Roll your shoulders back, stand yourself really tall. And then we're going to do that same thing for a mountain pose. So you're going to shift your weight back into your heels, and then shift your weight into your toes, going backwards and forwards a few times. And then find your centre. Shift your weight into your right leg, and then shift your weight into your left leg. And then find your centre, and then we'll do a circle one way, so just moving. Imagine your centre of gravity is like a little dot on the floor and you're just drawing a circle around. So just moving it around in one direction and then moving around the other way. And then find your centre again, so find that central point, find your balance. Bring your feet together. And then we'll do our tree pose. So I'll just go this way so you can see me a little bit better. You're going to shift the weight into the right leg. Take your left toes onto your mat and then move your knee out to the side. And so you're going to open up the hips, and we're just going to do that motion a few times. So you're going to come back to the centre, hips square, and then open out to the side. So just do that a few times. Hands can kind of go onto the hips or just wherever. Again, if you feel like you're losing your balance, just hold on to something. It's better to build up to it. I don't want anyone to fall over and get any injuries. So with balance, it's one of those things that as time goes on, we tend to lose it. We don't do too much balance. Okay, so that hip is probably loose enough now. So we're going to take the weight into the left leg, lift the right toes off the floor, and then open out to the side. And then we're going to do that a few times. So you're going to come back to the centre and then open out to the side. Back to the centre, out to the side. We'll do one more. And then holding out to the side there. Take a deep breath, stand yourself tall, and then you're going to place your foot either on your ankle, on your calf, or on your thigh. So it's going to go onto the inside of your left leg, and you're going to place it wherever you feel most comfortable. The higher the foot, the more challenging the balance is. So if you struggle with balance, maybe a bit lower is better. You could even have your toes just tapping or resting on the floor. And then the only place you want to avoid is your knee. So we're going to push into the leg, and you don't want to be pushing into your knee joint. So it's above or below the knee. Find your balance. When you found your balance, tuck the hips, draw up through your right leg, push your left foot onto the inside of that leg, and then push the leg onto the sole of your foot. So your legs are moving together and lifting up. And then hands come to the chest and hold there. So this is our tree pose. Take a few deep breaths. And then take your focus down to your standing leg. So feel that foot twitching and moving. So you're not standing perfectly still. No matter how good your balance is, you're constantly readjusting. You're bringing yourself back to the centre the whole time. Look directly ahead. Find a spot to focus on. Take a few deep breaths. And then release back down. Have a little walk on the spot, so stretch out your ankles. Balance on your left leg, circle your right ankle around a few times. And then we'll do a forward fold. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold forwards, release your head. Shift your weight into the balls of your feet, softly bend your knees. Lift the tailbone up over your heels. And then roll yourself back up. Roll your shoulders back, stand yourself tall, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So balancing on the left leg, shift your weight into your left leg, Come up onto the toes on your right foot and then just move your knee out to the side and then back to the centre. And then out to the side and back to the centre, and just doing that a few times. Feel the hips start to loosen up. Just flowing, go fairly quick, kind of a steady motion. And then when that hip is feeling a little bit looser, we'll increase that stretch. So you're going to lift the foot off the floor, maybe take your hand onto your knee, and then take your knee out to the side and back to the centre. And then keep flowing like that. And again, remember, you can hold on to something. It's better to work up to it gradually. So I was saying before, with balance, it's something that we lose over time if we don't keep it up. But it's something that we can practice and get back. So if you're doing this and really struggling and feel like there's no way you're going to be able to do tree pose, just keep going, watch this video every morning or whenever, and it'll come back to you. So you're going to take that foot back down, stand tall, bring everything in and up, find your centre of gravity, pull everything together, shift your weight down into your left leg, and then your right foot is going to come again into your ankle, onto your calf, or onto your thigh. Try and do the same option that you did on the previous side. Push your foot to your leg and your leg to your foot, everything coming together, hands to your chest, roll your shoulders back. So strong core, remember that core engagement from yesterday's class, lifting everything in and up, and then take your focus to your foot. So feel it twitching, coming back to the centre, look directly ahead, find a spot to look at and just focus there. So focusing on that one thing and focusing on the breath at the same time. So your gaze is focusing on one steady point and your mind is focusing on your breath. Relax your shoulders. So you want tension in some places, but not everywhere. So you want tension in your standing leg. You want tension in your core. You want your shoulders and arms and face and neck to be relaxed. Slowly release back down. Come back to your mountain pose. Walk on the spot. And then circle your left ankle around a few times each way. And then our final forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, hinge forwards. Release your head. Feel the backs of your legs release. Feel your head and shoulders relax. And then nice big bend in your knees. Slowly spine roll back up to stand. Roll your shoulders back. Come down into a seated position. Extend your legs out in front of you. I'm going to point and flex the feet a few times. And then circle the ankles around a few times one way, and then back the other way. Take your right foot onto the inside of your left thigh. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold over your left leg. Release your head, hold for a breath. Roll yourself back up. Roll your shoulders, inhale. Exhale, twist to your right, take your right arm behind, left hand across onto your bent knee. Take a breath. Relax your shoulders, roll your right shoulder back, and then come back to the centre. Switch the legs over. So right leg extended, left foot onto the inside of your thigh. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold over your right leg, release your head, take a breath. Inhale, roll yourself up, roll your shoulders back, sit tall. Exhale, twist to your left, roll your left shoulder back. Lift up through the crown of your head. Tall, upright spine. And then back to the centre. And then come into a comfortable seated position, so whatever that means for you. Sit yourself tall and we'll do that big breath together to finish. Inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, bring your hands down to your chest. Namaste. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, if it was something you struggled with, it's definitely something that comes with practice. So just keep at it, and before you know it, you'll be doing your tree pose. And you can modify, you can have your toe resting on the floor, you can have your foot lower, you can have your hand just resting lightly on a wall. You don't need to do the full pose straight away or at all. Tomorrow we are going to do a reverse warrior pose. So we're going to do our warrior flow that we did a few days ago, and we're going to add in some extra poses to it. We're going to flow a little bit more. So today was all about finding our centre, bringing everything together. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit more about moving, stretching, bigger movements, a bit more dynamic. So I hope I will see you there. Bye bye.